gradients m squared, and we are going to multiply and divide some functions. So when we do that, we want to notice that this is different than a composite function. We have a little times sign in here, or sometimes you might see it like this. Well, that's division. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do whatever it says. We're going to multiply f and g. If there's an x, we just use whatever they gave us. If there's a number, then we'll put the number in, figure out what that is, and then we'll do our operations. So this first one here, f of x times g of x. That's what this means, f of x times g of x. So we take our f, which is x squared minus 5x, and we're going to multiply it by g, which is negative 3x plus 5. Notice it's a binomial. Remember, a binomial means two terms separated by a plus or minus sign. So when we have a binomial times a binomial, we use FOIL. So that means the first ones times each other, so that's negative 3x cubed. And then the outers, so we have 5x squared. Then the insides, negative times a negative is a positive, so we have positive 15x squared. And then the lasts, we get negative 25x. And we see if we can combine anything. The middle terms are combinable. So I am going to simplify. So I get negative 3x cubed. When I combine these, I get 20x squared. And then I add on that, or subtract, and that is my final answer. Over here, it's asked us to divide. So that's usually the easiest kind because we don't actually end up dividing. We take the negative 3x plus 5, which is g of x, and we divide it by, that should not be an x. Let me change that. We'll just change it to h. My apologies on that. So g divided by h. So g of x divided by h of x. I'm going to put that right there. Whoops, that's a 4. And then we really don't divide because we can't, so we just leave it like that. There's nothing that factors out. Sometimes when you have expressions like this, you want to see if something factors and cancels, but it isn't. Some people think you can cancel the x's, but remember, this is not an x. This is an x minus 4. We treat it like one thing. So we could only cancel an x minus 4 with an x minus 4. Okay, moving on to this one. Over here, we want to actually find f of negative 3 and then multiply it by h of negative 3. So that's what this means. So we're going to put a negative 3 in for x in our f of x function. So we're going to say negative 3 squared minus 5x. Oh, sorry, not 5x, because we're putting a negative 3 in. And then we're going to put a negative 3 in for our h of x, and our h of x is right here. So we're going to say negative 3 minus 4. Well, negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7, and negative 3 squared is 9. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, but then it's a minus a negative 15, so it ends up being a plus 15. So when I do that, I get a 24. And 24 times 7, well, it's a negative times a positive, so we know it's going to be a negative. 4 times 7 is 28, carry the 2. 7 times 2 is 14, 15, 16. So we get negative 168. Okay, over here you'll notice I have multiplication and division. So I'm going to find f of 2, I'm going to times it by g of 2, and then I'm going to divide it by h of 2. So f of 2, so that's 2 squared minus 5x, or 5 times 2, and then times g of 2, so I'm going to take a negative 3 times 2 plus 5, all over h of 2, so 2 minus 4. Well, here I get a 4 minus 10, which is negative 6. Here I get a negative 6 plus 5, which is negative 1. And in the denominator, I get a negative 2 when I subtract 4 from 2. So 2 negatives make a positive. 6 times 1 is 6, divided by negative 2. So I end up with a negative 3. And that's how you multiply and divide functions. Just make sure you're careful with the signs and different operations. Make sure you remember your order of operations. It's not too bad. Good luck. M squared, signing out.